Right, so this next presentation is one I'm really excited about. It's lighting and angles, and again, this is the Atlanta Internet Video Marketing Association hands-on training workshop today, and I appreciate you all coming, and I appreciate the online audience as well. Gustav Wild of
Cogito
Cogito Creative is speaking on lighting and angles, and we just want to thank the sponsors, which are Showcase Photo and Video and Sony and CopyTalk.com, a video transcription company, Robbie and Michelle, who own this studio, Van Gogh Video Studios. They do live streaming here, and they have studio rentals. And then Tony Hale from Performance PC, he does live streaming remotely, and he also sells live streaming systems. So we'll let Gus tell us all about lighting and angles, a really important part about videography.
But eye level is the most popular camera angle. It's very neutral, has very little mental effect on the audience. It's very corporate, so if you're doing any corporate videos for yourself or for a client, I would definitely recommend eye level. Standard for most interviews, but it also has no dramatic power. Like I said, it's very neutral. It's ideal for like romantic comedies use it, news broadcast use it. That's just like the standard shot. So I guess since our monitor's not working, I guess I can't, it wouldn't really affect, the effect wouldn't be that great. But then there's also the low angle. So if you shoot from a low angle, what you're seeing is the character looks almost like a giant because you're down here, and so the low angle makes the subject appear dominant as well. So there's these subliminal things that you can give to the audience to make them feel certain ways. So like I said, the eye level is pretty neutral, but the low angle can give that character or subject a sense of power or a sense of aggression even. This angle, still with the three-point lighting, you might feel maybe a little bit intimidated by Charles, who seems to be towering over you. You feel like you're just like this little tiny, insignificant viewer onto this giant over here. So it's really good to, especially like if you're trying to portray a little kid looking up at an adult. That's a great way to really emphasize that feeling. All right, so here we have what would be a high angle. So especially in contrast to what we just saw with that low angle, it's almost comedic how now Charles looks like maybe like a 10-year-old guy sitting in the chair. Yeah. So I mean, it's like I mentioned before, it's very subtle. Like you might not even realize it when you're watching a movie or something. But again, I wouldn't really recommend doing an interview like this. That would be kind of just a little, there would be something off about it. But
maybe a second camera.
yeah, I mean, you can have like an artistic angle. Usually when I do interviews, I might have maybe a side angle with maybe like a more behind the scenes look that you can cut to. You always want maybe a safety shot to, you can always rely on to, if you need to cut something out, cut to the safety shot real quick, cut back, and then you can hide that cut in post-production. But
what's a safety shot?
a safety shot is something that you always want to get in a scene. So it's very similar to an establishing shot. So your establishing shot is usually a wide shot, and you have it at the beginning of your scene just to establish your location and everything. And but that only usually lasts for a few seconds. A safety shot is also a wide shot, maybe not as wide as the establishing shot, but it has all the characters. If you're doing a narrative, it has all the characters in the scene. So you do one whole take, whole run through with that wide shot. That's your safety shot. So then once you get that safety shot, you move in, maybe get this person's close up, this person's close up. But that safety shot's for your editor, so if there's ever any problem with any other shots, you know you can always go back to that one really long take, and that's kind of like your safety net. So we did high angle. So that's eye level, low angle, and high angle. Those are like the three most common. There are some other angles that we utilize in video production, one being the point of view shot, POV. So this really helps you get into the mindset of this character. You feel it's usually handheld about eye level to give the sense that you are that character. So captures what the subject sees, and it conveys how they're feeling with camera movement as well. So maybe if your camera is like going all over the place, maybe they're a little more anxious or like they're hurried, and you might get that feeling, that sensation, that emotion that the director's trying to convey as an audience member. But if they're like kind of just a little more relaxed or slow, you might relax yourself as an audience member. Also a Dutch tilt angle. This is when you kind of, I can't really do it on this because this tripod is, it's on a tripod, but here, I'll just take it off for a second, handheld. So a Dutch tilt angle would be something along the lines of this. So this, it's hard for me to look and hold it. So this kind of gives a little sense of, gives the viewer a little anxiety, a little more intensity, a little more drama. You don't really use this too often. You kind of just throw it in for emphasis for any scene in particular. Creates dramatic unrest, and you'll notice that all the vertical lines are now diagonal. So it just kind of adds to something not normal, abnormal. I'll try to shrink this down before I put the camera back on. Thank you. So those are a lot of the angles. Some other ones, cutaway shots. They're pretty much just really tight shots on something that's not a person. So say it's like a clock or a book or something. That's to help the editor move the editing along as well. So those are the main angles and how they affect the subject. What else